So I recently picked up a new handgun, Glock 19. I've wanted one for a while. Finally picked one up here. Even with all the hype going on right now, I was able to find one at a pretty decent price. Paid, what was it, about, I think it was $600 straight up, which stinks because a couple months ago, before all this craziness started happening and the hype, I could have picked one up for $500 flat, so about $100 more plus the tax and everything on top. But picked this up recently. Haven't got to shoot it much, but tonight we're going to be swapping out the sights. As you can see, it's got the standard Glock front and rear sight on there. I didn't realize this before, uneducated consumer, I guess, but these are plastic. I mean, they're pretty crappy. I'd heard people call them slot fillers before, and I never really thought, well, you know, whatever. But now that I look at them, they really are pretty cheap and crappy. I mean, they really are just plastic, and I don't particularly care for the sight picture very much either. So I decided to swap those out. What I decided to go with, after a lot of research and after a friend was kind of my guinea pig, and went and got these as well, we picked up some Ameriglows. Went with a flat black serrated rear sight, which I'll show you in just a second. And then the front sight is the Ameriglow, which is really cool. I'm going to show you that up close. So let me go ahead and open this up. I'll pick these up from Optics Planet, and got a pretty good deal on them, I think. Oh, lost a little guy. There he is. So it does have a Trijicon vial there in the middle. You can see it's kind of dark. So in the dark you'd be able to see that. And then around it, it's wrapped in fiber optic, and it comes with either a square option like this, which I prefer, or a round option. It also comes in a couple different colors. I really like this kind of yellowish green color. So it's pretty neat because the Trijicon will light up at night, and then that in turn lights up the fiber optic. And then it's also encased in aluminum, or I would assume it's aluminum. Feels like aluminum. So you've got a fiber optic sight, all the benefits of that. You got all the benefits of a night sight, but yet at the same time it's protected inside of this shell. So that's the front sight. Go ahead and show the rear sight here. So this has got a dovetail obviously on the bottom. This is the part that you would be looking at. So you can see it's serrated, so it's going to cut the glare, and that'll look nice on the back of that Glock. I really like this versus having the dots in the back. Really allows you to focus on that front sight and capture that very quickly and get it lined up. So we'll get these installed tonight and show you what it looks like.
Glock's sight tool, front sight tool, is just a special.
Got that little hex head on it.
Yeah, to get that screw out. Just go ahead and unscrew it. You can save that for later if you want.
Throw it in the garbage where it belongs, one of the two.
Now I can type it.
Can't believe they put a pencil barrel on. The Predator version of Rock River has a 1-inch barrel all the way out. It's heavy, really noticing. That's what I want, a shorty.
Nope.
I want one so bad I can't stand it. You screw on the suppressor, it comes right to the end. Look at that thing. Is that a view or what?
Take out the slot fillers. Norton, yeah, sharpening stone. Usually just take a little bit off the bottom of this.
And why do you do that?
A lot of times these sights come just slightly oversized, so they have a nice fit. And so
Usually try it first, or you just take a little off?
I've done so many of them that I've never got one to just go right on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure some will, but I'll usually just polish the bottom just a tad. Doesn't take much. And then take my rubber mallet and just see how far it'll go on a. Whoops. Let me take that off. I forgot to take the tape off. And use aluminum punches, that's the key. You don't mar up your slide. So I'll take off just a smidge more.
Is $107 for the FUG 40 universal grip. But they have a new tactical hand stop, and they have a 2-place set. It's really cool.
So what this is doing is moving that dovetail up ever so slightly, and so it'll shrink down the higher you cut it up.
Yeah.
When's your T1 get here?
I don't know. I'm going to go a little bit at a time, because we don't want to.
You have me convinced that I need a
You can
T1.
already tell just by pushing it goes that much. A little bit more. Now, Glocks I often will. That's a little too much, but sometimes I'll just have them offset just ever so slightly, because right-handed shooters
Tend to pull it.
often with a Glock tend to shoot left, and so
Well, I was doing that with his the other day, so I agree. I was going to have you set it a little bit to the side.
there. That's dead center, so we could probably just touch it just a smidge that way if you want.
Sure.
Let's see. This isn't a great way to measure, but I can just kind of get a little feel for. Put it wherever you want. You can go shoot it too and see.
Yeah. That's good.
On.
That's the blue Loctite.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice fit. A lot of time there's a little wiggle room in there, but that one just like had a nice little snug fit.
Good.
Before I tighten it up, get that Loctite out of there, but before I tighten it up, make sure it's, and that looks dead on. You don't want it this way or that way, or you want it just perfect.
Yeah.
You can get your eyes on that and see if that's to your liking.
So now we have our finished product of our Ameriglow sights on the Glock 19. Put my hand there so you can kind of see a little better, but you can see you've got the serrated rear sight, and we come up here to the front. You have the Ameriglow with the tritium in the middle and the fiber optic around the edge. Pretty excited to go out and test this guy out. I'll show you what that looks like here in the dark. So there it is in the light. And there it is at night. It's kind of hard to pick up in the camera, but it actually does light up the entire fiber optic a little bit. Actually glows pretty bright. It's funny, you look at it with my naked eye, I'm looking at it and the tritium portion actually appears dark to my natural eye, and then the fiber optic appears bright. Whereas on the camera, as I'm looking at it here, it's kind of the opposite. The tritium's really glowing and the fiber optic is not. So there you have it. That's my new Glock 19. Just those new sights on there now. Pretty excited to go out and try it out. Interesting enough, I don't feel like I have that big of hands, but I really like the large back strap on there rather than the standard or the medium. So excited to go out and give it a try and do some videos with it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate and subscribe.